is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I got a very special guest. I'm going to bring him up here in a second. But, you know, my team always likes to remind me that, hey, you don't bring this up at the beginning of the show, and you need to. And that is, if you get value in what you hear today, you guys, and you're not subscribed, do your boy a solid. Subscribe to the show. And if you're feeling ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see it as well. And I say that because we pulled the data, you guys, like 70% of the people who tune into this show, which we love you guys tuning in, haven't hit that subscribe button. So hit that up for us. But anyways, today, you guys, I'm really excited to talk about today's topic. And because to me, I feel like operational excellence is the pathway to success in freight. And you want to sit here and think everything's going to be picking up on time, delivering on time. Nothing's ever going to go wrong. At least that's the way I thought when I first started out. And then things started to happen. And then I found ourselves wasting a lot of time and actually increasing the risk to our customers' freight out there when these situations happen. So I am pleased to welcome Dave Gutierrez on the show with Olymp. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Man, my pleasure. What else am I going to be doing on a Tuesday morning? This to be watching your show. So happy to hang out and actually get to talk. This is awesome.
No, dude, I appreciate you joining me. And, you know, I look at it where, you know, we'll get started here in a sec, but like I found myself like being able to separate myself from the competition out there in the market when you can come through in times of need. I think like if I could look back over my career and, you know, inside of my current freight brokerage, selling is the easy part. Like cold calling, like getting the freight is the easy part. It's when the tenders start coming through. That's when your real value starts to show itself. And, you know, we've gone through some things in my career where it's just like, man, what you guys have, like that could have helped me out so much earlier on in my career, but it's definitely going to assist us right now as we kind of go through that. But Dave, I want to start with this, man. How'd you get your start in freight? What brought you into transportation?
Oh man, like so many people, right? I don't want to say I graduated college because I just left college at 22, 23, almost done, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Got into sales. Like I sold radio advertising in the 2000s. I sold radio advertising, like old school radio. It was terrible. And I started looking for another job almost immediately. And I saw a job posted that didn't require a college degree and wanted some sales experience, and went to work for one of the big brokers at C.H. Robinson. And I mean, it was like magic. I didn't even know anything about the supply chain industry, didn't know anything about logistics. But once I got on the phone the first time slinging trucks, like I loved every second of it. And I've been doing it ever since. Like brokerage, I worked for a shipper for a while. Like now I'm working in the warehouse side of things. But like it's a different thing we all say the same things, right? It's a crazy pace. It's a different job every day. But those are the things I loved about it. I'm solving problems. I'm never just sitting at my desk, you know, making spreadsheets. It's really a cool industry to get involved in.
You know, you have a unique perspective because not everybody, you know, most people when they come in, Dave, they work on one side, right? They're either on the trucking side, warehousing side, or freight brokerage, you know, side of things essentially. So you have a unique perspective of kind of an all-encompassing career path there. So what's some of those things that when you weren't in the freight brokerage seat that helped you stand out? Like, hey, this brokerage is dialed in. They know what they're talking about. Their operations. What was that?
So, I mean, for me, it's the same as my job now, right? You said it. Like anybody can quote a rate, right? Anybody can throw numbers at something. It doesn't matter when I was on the shipper side, when I was on the brokerage side, and now on the warehouse side. Like anybody can throw a rate at a thing. You've got to be able to follow through. You got to be able to communicate what's going on with your orders. You got to make your customer feel like they're in good hands, even when, like we all know, you know, shit's on fire and you know you're doing 9 different things to try to get that thing back on the rails. You've got to be able to communicate clearly and you know, make sure everybody understands that you know your business, that you know what you're doing, you've got it under control, and you're going to take care of their stuff. That's bottom line. Everything. I'm working on the shipper side. Like we all call on these shippers. it's the same for them, man. Like when I was sitting at the shipper desk, it was me talking to my sales team or my operations team, the manufacturing guys saying, hey, don't worry, like the truck's going to show up, or it's I had a guy blow a turbo, and I'm looking for another truck right now, but we'll have somebody in here. Like everybody's living the same life in this industry, and being a clear communicator and making sure that people know that when they give you something to take care of, it's going to get done is everything.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement. I think that so many people emphasize when they're trying to develop business, they focus on the things that, yes, they're important, but they're not top priority, right? Like trucks showing up on time and delivering on time, phenomenal, but not really a value add out there at the end of the day, right? Like that's just like going to McDonald's and having them get your double quarter pounder, right? That is the expectation. And when I'm going out there, and it's like, if I look over my career, my greatest growths with a lot of my customers came when shit hit the fan. Like there's no other way to put it. And it started with our ability to communicate, but most importantly, our ability to find a solution. And I think as you're going out there and developing your book of business, and I know like the strategy that we've taken is like we are 99% open deck and heavy haul inside of my brokerage. And we do a lot of job site deliveries. We do a lot of unconventional moves out there that most providers don't necessarily want to touch. I love that ugly freight out there. And when I say that is like, we got to find a third-party warehouse to deliver the freight into, because the job site that we're delivering to doesn't have a forklift. They have no way of offloading that. And, oh yeah, by the way, this machine that we're moving is also of $250,000 in cargo value, right? So from my perspective, that is a problem that a lot of manufacturers have. Is they're like, hey, how do we get this stuff to our customer? Because they're out there selling, right? Like ironically, there's a ton of competition in every industry and every vertical that's out there. And sometimes you as the transportation provider, you got to think outside of the box and be like, all right, how can I fix this? Because this is a major issue that a lot of manufacturers have is if they're trying to sell to somebody, do they have an ability to offload this freight? Do they have a way to even get it out to their customers? So it's like, for me, it's having a third-party warehousing, let alone a legitimate one that you can reach out to that can accommodate some of these moves. That I think is the most overlooked weapon in most brokers' arsenal that they should have in their back pocket.
100%, dude. And so for your listeners, just a quick background on what Olymp does, right? So I'm a third-party provider of warehouse services, on-demand warehouse services. So essentially a brokerage, right? The same way you guys are all out there calling on shippers and trying to connect them with your capacity, working with the small carriers to give them a little bit broader reach into those bigger shippers. I do the same thing for brokers and carriers to the warehousing side of the business, right? So big part of our business is on the distressed freight side. It's that I've got 4 pallets tipped over at Costco. They're not going to receive it today. I need to get it off my truck, right? Or get it reworked, restacked. I missed my appointment at Walgreens. They're telling me I can't come back for 19 days because that's the next available appointment time. Can I cross-dock this somewhere instead of going all the way back to the shipper and shipping it back in? We provide that kind of service by working with public warehouses, the same way you guys work with carriers. We develop those relationships. They're part of our network. We got a really cool tech platform and a good play on the tech side that helps make those connections. But at the end of the day, what facilitates it is the people, the brokers who sit at that desk and say, okay, you've got a problem. Let me help you solve it. I'm going to put it in a warehouse, find a warehouse partner who can really meet your needs and help with this situation. We also take that out to the project basis, right? So when you're selling a customer, you're talking about like, you guys do heavy haul, you're working with a job site. Well, maybe your customer's got a job site that's not ready to receive everything that they're moving in yet. You say, hey, can you get me storage for a couple of months? And I'm going to build up all this inventory, and then I want you to haul it back out to my site when it's ready. We work on those kind of projects too, from 1 pallet to 10,000 pallets. Like if you need help placing product in a warehouse or getting some kind of basic warehouse work done, you come to Olymp and work with us directly. So we give you that single point of contact to all those things. But every brokerage I've ever worked in, I've had a day where I got the intern calling warehouses in Mobile, Alabama, looking for somebody who can unload 3 pallets today because we're stuck, and they're on Google just like working their way through the phone book, old school, right? Well, let me do that work for you, right? Call Olymp Warehousing. We already know those guys. We know who you can take that to, and it takes less than a half an hour to get a quote back in your hands and say, hey, this is what it's going to cost to get this problem solved today. Saves you a ton of time and energy, and works out for me. I make a little money on the other side of it, and everybody's happy.
No, I'm glad you brought up that Costco example, right? Like when I was moving food shipments and stuff, man, like there was one facility, I'll just say in South Florida, that always rejected at least 3 to 4 pallets on every single move. And I'm not going to say that there was like a backdoor deal that was going on, but there just happened to be a cross-dock facility down the street who happened to always know how to rework it properly to get it back in. Nonetheless, it was a great thing for us to have because at the end of the day, our customer needed to get that stuff in. Like every CPG company dreams of a Costco relationship where they can get their product out there and stuff like that. And as a service provider, you know, knowing that you're bringing it into the right place to get it restocked and everything for that, you know, and because it's like, to me, man, I've moved too much freight in my career to not see the absolute value in what you guys are doing, because it's never a matter of if, it's when. You know, like it's like what is it going to cost you to have a rejected load out there? Like the fact is most people don't have a plan B or a plan C. Like they don't know where to reach out to. And then heaven forbid you find a cross-dock facility that's out there that can store it, and then the product just happens to go missing, or there's a lot of risk that can come along with a lot of that. And it's like, for me, it's those contingency plans. Like you need something in place, and especially if you're moving volume freight, right? Like I'm talking 30 loads a day between Atlanta and Chicago. You need that facility within a 5-10 mile radius for when something happens. You have a way to again, solve that problem for your customer.
100%, dude. And like the things that I've thought of, that I've seen since I've worked here, that I wish I'd thought of when I was a broker, even simple, like there were times, you know, I missed an appointment, I'd pay a guy a layover from Friday to, you know, Tuesday when I could get that delivery rescheduled. And I'm paying layover for every day of the weekend, keeping the driver away from his family. Like, you know, it's a huge hassle. Nobody's happy. And then I realized here, like it's a fraction of the cost of layovers to throw that in a warehouse and just cross-dock it for a few days and send the truck back. A lot of, you know, drivers are good guys out there. Like that guy might go home for the weekend and come back and pick it up and deliver it for you. Or in some cases, you know, I don't want to get into freight brokerage. I've done my time in freight brokerage, but we do have warehouses that have their own trucks, right? The box truck or even a full trailer. We'll set up delivery for you. You do, you know, ask for final mile delivery service. I'll make sure it's on our MC, on our carrier's MC number, our warehouse's MC number. You don't have to worry about me brokering it out to somebody else, you know, like a freight broker, not posting your load on that. But we can get it delivered for you too. Like really anything you can think of. We do disposals. We do hold for inspection. We've got some customers who have us just take in the freight when they need to have an insurance inspection. Say, hey, can you keep this for a week while they're going to send somebody out to take a look at it and decide what to do with it? Like, there are so many solutions to problems you don't even realize you have that can make your life easier with this connection.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to start throwing some real examples at you here, David. You know, awesome. that redelivery, you know, that we're talking about, right? Like looking at it from a cost perspective alone, and then like a stress perspective as well. When you got, you know, because again, if you're moving into some of these large grocery retailers or, you know, some of these high volume distribution centers that are out there, if you miss your Thursday, it could be the following Thursday by the time you get that next appointment that's out there. And then especially to know that you could bring it to a facility that has their own trucks that will redeliver that. And again, they are financially obligated to get that shit off their dock to over to the customer as well. To know that, like, that is a major issue that could cost you, I don't know, like $3,000 in layovers and everything else and redelivery fees. And God knows what that could come with. And I just, again, I look at that one-stop shop, right? Like, hey, Dave, this is what I need. This is everything this is where it's going to be. And then to know that that's taken care of, again, your customer is going to appreciate the fact that you found a solution for that issue.
Absolutely. And I mean, you think about like the number of times that you end up dealing with the problem. Like the best thing you can do as a broker always, right, to your customer is bring the problem with the solution. Hey, here's what's going on. Communicate clearly. Here's what happened. Driver overslept. We missed delivery. But don't worry, I've got it rescheduled for delivery. It's 3 days out, and I've got a warehouse where I can store it. They're going to redeliver it for you at the appropriate appointment time. Everything's going to be cool here. Like, now you're smoothing things over with your customer. You're having positive conversation, asking for that next load, instead of calling and say, hey, truck got rejected. I'm working on it. I'll let you know what I can do in a few minutes, right? Like the difference of being able to bring a solution when you have a problem to a customer, and just, you know, communicating problem is good step one, right? But communicating a problem with a solution in hand, really much, much better. And that's something we try to help our broker customers, focus on being a broker, focus on being a freight broker, focus on keeping your customer happy and keeping your trucks moving. Let me do the warehouse part and make it easy for you. And, you don't even realize sometimes, like some of these, even if you found a warehouse, even if you Googled and found the right place, now they want you to set up an account. They're going to do a credit check. They're, going to send you over a 3-page form with what are the products that you're going to store here, all this stuff. And you're going, man, I just have half a truckload. I need to get off the truck, right now, as soon as possible. Help me out. Again, we've done all that legwork. We're ahead of the game for you and can help out with that.
So Dave, how are you guys going out and vetting these providers, right? Because I know like obviously carrier, brokers and stuff, we have that vetting software and all of that stuff. How are you guys going out there and assessing like, hey, this is the separator between a legitimate operation and somebody who like we don't even want to touch on our platform?
100%. Great question. So I've got a team of warehouse reps that work. It's a little bit different than your brokerage carrier rep, although our business does map pretty neatly onto the brokerage model. But our warehouse folks are out there. So the first thing obviously is verifying all of the insurance coverages. So we have insurance. So just like, broker has insurance on cargo, but we have insurance just to make sure our customers are confident, like, stuff is handled. So I carry all the insurance policies also, but then we're going out, we're verifying that warehouse's insurance. We're verifying their physical location. Some very simple, it's a little bit different than trucking because nobody's, showing up with a warehouse to steal your load like you guys have to worry about on the brokerage side now. But we make sure it's a legit operation. Frequently have them send us pictures, give me information that I can use to help sell your facility. But the biggest thing is that initial conversation, and then they sign up on our load board. So this happened before I started here. I apologize to literally everyone I talked to. I don't know why we called it a load board. Load boards are a thing in freight. This is more of a warehouse job board than a load board, but we call it the load board and it's stuck. So they can sign up, and they once they have an account on our platform, they've been vetted, their certificate of insurance has been approved, all that stuff. They're able to go in and actually bid on those jobs as they come in. So if you go to olafwarehousing.com and submit for an RFQ for a job, you're letting us know that there's an order there, right? And I'm going to have one of my operations people is going to jump in right away to say, hey, you'll get an automated email from our system. And then the operations person is going to jump in and say, hey, I'm Bob, I'm working on your order. So there's a person there too. It's not just Airbnb, right? You've got a human involved in making sure things are going right. Then that job is posted to our job board, and those warehouses, especially in an area that's pretty dense with warehouse partners, they're bidding on your opportunity. That rep who's at that desk, their job is to make sure, this is the second part of the vetting, make sure they get the right one, right? So we track things like food grade certifications. If you tell me you're AIB certified, I need to see that certificate and have that on file, just so if I'm going to tell a customer, hey, this is a SQF facility or an AIB facility, I need to know that's true, right? So we're vetting that out. But then when we have those specific jobs, you're not going to put a shipment of food stuff into a warehouse that mostly does hazmat and bulk trash recycling, right? It's not the same. If you've got your heavy haul type stuff, we're going to ask those questions. Can that go outside? Like, can we just do yard storage? We've got a heavy fork, and can we just put it down in the yard, throw a tarp over it? Is it cool, or does it need to be in the warehouse? We can do that too, right? Those are the kind of questions that we do, that sort of next level. Let's make sure we get the right warehouse for the right opportunity. We also understand the difference. We try to give two options a lot of the time. Say, hey, here's my closest option. Here's my cheapest option. If your guy wants to drive, your driver is willing to go another 80 miles, I can save you $200 on this. If you really just want to get it off the truck, get it done as soon as possible, here's a place that's 15 miles away, but it's a little more expensive, right? All that kind of stuff is happening, again, with like sort of human brain power behind it. It's not just an algorithm. It's not just an AI that's matching up warehouse with job. We're putting a human touch on that too.
Yeah, everything you're describing here, to the person who has never found themselves with their backs against the wall, it might not resonate with you, but to the seasoned individuals out there, like myself and others who listen to this show, what you're describing, to me, is like it is such a cause of anxiety when you're going out there, because like this just as well as anybody, Dave. Relationships as a broker with your customers are fragile at all times, and you making that wrong decision in that moment, again, there's a risk in everything, but this is one of those unnecessary rolls of the dice that you even need to make anymore, right? Like this is a clean operation that you can go to and find the right provider for it. And especially when you go out into some of these rural markets, for example, like, again, in my neck of the industry, we don't just go to major metropolitan areas, right? Like we're going 50, 60 miles outside of there, man. And there might only be one warehouse that's out there. And we need to find a cross-dock facility or a transload facility to get this piece of equipment off of my driver's trailer. And, again, we always like to, I don't know, we're very proactive in our approach. We're like, we'll always call ahead to every facility just to make sure, hey, do you have all of this stuff? And again, our customers view us as like that's our job, to go out there and find that solution. And then, because again, we're delivering their product to their customers, and their customers are definitely looking at them to be like, hey, I just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with you. Why am I having to lift a finger here? Right. So it's one of those things for me. This is a no-brainer. This is a service that everybody needs inside. And again, like Dave's talking about here, you guys, it's not just one mode of transportation. He mentioned food grade. He mentioned hazmat. I'm assuming medical is another one that's in there as well. High value. I'm assuming that your guys are out there vetting these guys who can take $1 million, $2 million shipments and store them in there for the secure yards and all of that stuff.
100%. And like we always talk about, we'll work with, I have warehouses that are everything from a guy who's got a little cross-dock operation, attached to his truck shop that's 6 pallets and he keeps his inventory on a marker board, to, massive 3PLs with cameras, security, and, bonded facilities, places with, guard shack and a fence. Like, you tell me what you need, we'll help you find that right place. And just like you guys do with shippers, right, as a broker, it's the same thing. Like, hey, I've got the right spot for you. This is what it's going to cost, but this is what you're getting for that. And you have that confidence that you're actually getting what you're paying for. If you've got, like you said, you've got a trailer full of high value stuff that you just need a place to park for a couple of days, but it needs to be a secure lot. You need to make sure that it's under lock and key and that nobody's getting in and out. Yeah, like you tell me that, I'll make sure that you've got the right spot. That kind of stuff is, we were talking before the show, right, about the things the niches that people find in this business to really make an impact and grow your business. We're here to help with exactly that kind of thing. I'm working on a project right now. A customer came to me looking for mixed cold and dry storage, only a truckload at a time. And the guy wants to bring his Sprinter van in and load half a pallet every day to make his deliveries outbound to his customers. Absolutely. Yeah. That's something we're going to look at. And, that guy's going to have a real hard time walking into one of the, big 3 frozen storage, cold storages and saying, hey, I want to store, half a load of stuff and load it out in a Sprinter van. They don't want to bother with that, right? But we can help find that person, that small mom and pop type warehouse, public warehouse, that's going to help out with those projects. And we love coming up with those solutions. I've got a customer who stores cleaning supplies for a specific type of, it's a drilling machine they use on road work. I don't even know what the name of it is, but they only store 6 pallets a month with me. But they store 6 pallets every month since I started here, because we happen to find them the right place and they love it. Like, those are the kind of customer solutions we want to help you provide.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to me, it's like, this is, because again, as a broker, you're like, how do you really differentiate yourself out there in the market? Because again, I don't care what anybody says, we're all quoting around the same, right? Like, we're all pulling data from the same stuff. Nobody has any proprietary algorithm that somehow gets the best prices out there. Doesn't matter if you're the largest broker in North America or a one-person agency out there. We're probably all within a couple of points of each other. To me, it's always going to come down to these situations, right? It's going to come down to your customer who's like, I need this stuff off my dock today. We're out of space, but this cannot deliver until next Thursday. Can you find a short-term facility for me? Or do you have a drop yard that we can go in and create a drop trailer? Any of those little fringe services and like resources that you have as a broker, that is going to ultimately be how you separate yourself from your competition. Because most people, you guys, you can hate me for saying this, they want all the easiest shit out there. They want first come, first serve, 24/7, one pick, one drop. That's it. 26 pallets, 40,000 pounds. That's all they want to touch. And as soon as there's a layer of complexity added onto it, most people walk away from that stuff. They're like, I don't want to touch that shit. Or miraculously, their phones and emails don't work anymore when things go wrong. To me, this is where us little guys out there who are building our dreams, this is how we compete with the biggest players out there and the most established players with our customers is we do the shit that nobody else wants to do. and having that resource with a guy like Dave and Olymp, this is all the people that you need to reach out to. Dave lists, like, if I was to look at all of the issues I've had as a broker that were not like stolen freight style situations, which are very rare compared to like what you see out there in the media, right? It's a rarity if you're actually doing your job. 95% of my issues are solved with a one call to Dave in his stuff with what I got going on at Olymp. But I'm not saying that. And you guys, and FYI, Dave's not paying me shit to be on the show. All right. Like, this is a 100%. This is the service that you need in your back pocket.
Yeah, and I mean, let me leave you with one other thought, right? For all those little, those broker agencies where you're out there, it's one or two people trying to make a living. And the other thing we can do, like I said, that project freight, right? Your customer comes and says, hey, I've got 50 truckloads you can have, but I need them transloaded from containers at the Port of Savannah before I can haul them out. Well, now you can step in and say, hey, I've actually got a guy, we got a partner we work with who can help with the transloading and the drayage piece of that as well. Let me get you a quote on the whole thing. And then you're not losing out to one of the big guys who can step in and do that whole end-to-end project, because I can fill that role for you, that warehouse salesperson, right? You can offer those warehousing solutions. You can offer transloading, you can offer storage. We can help you place that for your customer. And that can be however you want it to be. That can be invisible to your customer. I can give you a quote, you quote it to your customer. They don't need to know that, Olymp Warehousing is the agent who helped you find this. That's not necessarily important information. Or you can just introduce us and say, hey, I'm not going to make anything on this warehousing piece. I'm not going to broker it, but here's my guy who can help you with the warehousing side of it. I'm going to do your drayage. I'm going to do your redelivery, however you want to work it. But, let us help you bring solutions to the customer. Exactly like you said, that's where you guys get sticky with your customers.
Yeah.
When you solve the tricky problems, anybody can haul, like you said, anybody can haul 30,000 pounds of dry freight all day long, first come, first serve, interplant transfers where you don't have to worry about appointments and dealing with the sticky stuff. But that's also just a commodity. You're either the cheapest or you're not when you're doing that stuff. When you're doing the kind of work you're doing, the heavy haul, going out to construction sites, making sure that they can unload the stuff when they need to, where they need to, checking the weather report to make sure you've got a plan in case, hey, we got 5 days of rain coming. I don't know if you want this delivered yet. Those kind of brokers, those people have a hook with their customers that you can't just undercut by some joker come in and saying, oh, I can do that for 10% less. Now you're sticky. Now you've got a real solution to your customer. We just want to be a part of that. Like that's what it comes down to. We're here to provide a solution for one little niche, one little niche of the business, but we're really good at it. And, we can make you really good at it too.
No, Dave, I appreciate it, man. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to join me. I'm going to have you guys back on because this is one of those services that is never going to go away. And especially with peak season coming up here and a lot of other stuff going on in the industry, you guys might be busting at the seams. But Dave, how does anybody reach out to you guys to find out more about what you got going on?
So olympwarehousing.com, best place to go. That's our basics. But you can also you can message me on LinkedIn. I'll talk to anybody anytime. So reach out on LinkedIn, reach out through the website. It's very simple. Hit the request a quote button. The form is like it couldn't be any more self-explanatory. You tell me what the location is you're looking for, what kind of warehousing you need, how many units you've got. There's a place in there you can put some notes in. If I come back on sometime, maybe I'll show it on the screen. I probably should have planned ahead for that, but fuck me, this is my first time on your podcast. So I'm learning as I go. But yeah, olympwarehousing.com for all of your warehousing needs. We're happy to help. And Dave Gutierrez on LinkedIn. Reach out, and I'm happy to make new friends.
Perfect. Dave, thank you so much. If you guys can't find Dave or Olymp Warehousing, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact with them. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious after this one, which you should be, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm getting to the back.